Welcome back to the channel. We're going over the Nasdaq 100, the SP 500, exactly what I'm going to be looking at tomorrow in the stock market and key news that moved the market today and how you need to be trading going into the next week. Let's get to it. So the first thing I want to go over is what's happening here in the broad scale and really the trend you've been stuck in here on the Nasdaq as well as the S&P. Now, I went into yesterday's explanation showing you the top side was about 12.75, this zone right here, bottom side around 12.6. This is a major chop zone. This was a level that we were just consistently sitting in over the past 3-4 days. That's what happened. Now, we had a lot of good stuff happen and a lot of overall momentum shift to the side of the bulls, and that's what we're going to talk about specifically here today. Now, going into yesterday, what was I saying? I was saying as long as you're under 12.6, you have to remain a bear. And if you can break below this level right here, 12.45, the previous double bottom that you formed on the day before, this is going to be a major level. So I want to highlight right now this range here. You did not get a perfect double bottom. In fact, you did make lower lows all 3 times right here. Just so you know, you were making lower levels each single time you came down. However, as we look at this range, it's important to know you wicked and you came right back up. Buyer stepped immediately into play. Now, coming into this, I got the opening I thought we would. I thought we would open to the downside of the market. But the longer we played out, the more you realized this was becoming a bull's market. We're going to get into that news here in a second as well. But you saw we shot all the way up back to that double top region. And I'm going to tell you, I think we may be on the verge of a breakout. Now, as far as news on the day, this is what we were looking at right here. You had your jobless claims come out. That was positive. You also had your continuous and then your ADP employment change. This came out bad. This was actually bad, but you're not going to see this really affect the market initially. This is more going to flow over to the inflation numbers, and that'll be down the road. But overall, your jobless was good. This was pretty phenomenal if you ask me. And it kind of gave reason. I was like, you could get a little bit of a bounce from this. Now, the big thing was when Brainerd started talking. This was Fed Brainerd, and these are the key notes from Fast Stock Market News. This is directly from the Bloomberg terminal. Now, looking at this, I want to highlight a few key things. First, before she came up, it's important to note OPEC raised output ahead of time going into their new meeting. About 50% increase in oil production from OPEC is what they're saying right now. Now, that in itself was very good for the market and the overall speculation of inflation, which we'll get to here in a second. But that kind of set the tone going into what Brainerd was saying. Brainerd says the number of challenges to get inflation down were rising. There's a number of those challenges coming out, and she definitely came out not giving the market what we wanted. So it was kind of stagnant at first, and then you got the 50 BPS pricing in June and July seems reasonable, saying that that's most likely where we stay. They don't have a clear sense of where we'll be in September. Pretty terrible news if you ask me. And then very hard to see a case for a pause in rate hikes. Again, normal, nothing bad there. So this is all things that we expect. None of these are really big changes. The one thing that was a change is them saying we don't know where we'll be in September. That's kind of crazy. I don't know why you would tell the nation that the Fed doesn't know where we'll be in September. I mean, come on, just relax. Tell the children what you need to hear. Now, the next big thing that she said was regarding tightening rates and the balance sheet. Sticking to the plan, not changing anything there. Now, again, the market did not react bad to this. This is very important to know. This goes back into the previous videos regarding how Biden and Powell are talking about this as well. She brought something very interesting, which we talked about in the Beige Book. Watching home sales very closely, which have softened, develops in housing reflect impact on tightening. So she's starting to say, if home sales start to massively decrease, this could be a very big problem, specifically with tightening, and can show that they're going to have consistently more problems with this as well. And that's kind of where she left us off. So there's no big change. And typically Brainerd's kind of giving us the heaters and really hurting the market. From then on, you saw straight upward trajectory, straight upward movement on the SPY and stocks in general. Now, I'm going to just go over exactly what I like, how I'm trading this, and what's really happening in the market. First out of the gates, I do want to highlight some things regarding the options chain. SPY, there's still quite a lot of puts, and I'm going to explain why I think a lot of this is hedging and further dated puts. They're not right now. You're getting some daily puts coming in, yes, and 0DT coming in hot. However, a lot of these are dated 715. You're seeing rescheduling of these monthly and reworking their contracts. Qs as well look a little bit better to the call side, more even on here as well. But again, these are less dated, if you will, looking at these contracts. Now, when it comes to looking at the Nasdaq, SPY, everything like that, I said in the beginning of this week, top plays, what were they? It was Amazon and it was Google. Since the beginning of the week, Amazon's gone nuts, and it's going nuts still. I believe you have a possibility to start getting crazy here. Tomorrow, you could see this gap start to get filled, and I know this sounds bizarre, but you really could. You have the split coming in on Monday. More and more volume is preparing for the split. Because if we even stay bullish during this split, the chances are Amazon gets insurmountable volume and Amazon just absolutely takes off. And really, the sky is the limit here, and it could start going back close to 3,000, which in split terms would mean $150. Right now, it's currently, you would be sitting at $125 at the current rate if it's split tomorrow. So that all in all is good there. Second up was Google. I was telling everyone, guys, Google, the split are the ones you want to play right now. Google tomorrow, you're sitting right here at about 23.50. You break this, you're moving up to roughly 23.90, and then next stop is locally around 24.28. And you also have a gap up here as well in the daily time frame you need to be looking at. These are all very big levels you have to be watching. And then the last one I'm going to tell you right now, I like Tesla a lot. I like what they're doing. I like the probability of getting an upside push here. Now, on the day, you started getting immediate pressure as well once Brainerd started speaking. You can already see you were already flagging as well, which, again, I did cover in one of the previous videos. And on a smaller level, you're flagging once again, but at previous highs as now support. So you can see this previous support right here acting as support. So all you need is a decent open tomorrow, and in my opinion, this thing can go crazy. But what I want to tell you before you get too excited is what you got to be looking out for tomorrow. And this is where things start to get real. So tomorrow morning, you're going to have non-farm payrolls. Those are mucho importante. And if you look at how non-farm did today, you would project those do bad. Now, this is the kicker. The unemployment rate. Jobs did come out to good today, but that does not mean unemployment's going to beat, just to let you know. However, jobs continue to improve. So if unemployment beats, I'm going to tell you right now, if this number does well, tomorrow will be a rocket ship. It will be a great day. SPY most likely starts its ascension towards 425, 430 if this comes out good. As of right now, looking at charts, you're going to tell by my tone, I am bullish short term. Short term, I see upside. Long term, fingers crossed. I think a recession is still in the works. But looking at SPY, I'm going to tell you right now, you've got out of the zone we were trading in. We were stuck in the zone for 3-4 days. You got out. You closed above it. If you can open up the day above 417 with a little bit of good news, not even the best beats, any sort of good news, you will start your ascension, and it will be quick. You can see the levels of liquidity in this zone, and it's not much. You're not seeing too much support in this region. You're getting a little bit in this box right here, about 419 through 421, 422. But I don't think that's going to be enough to withstand and hold this, because once you start seeing Amazon, Tesla, Google start moving into that volume and looking at something like Apple, one of the big movers, it's breaking out as well. Once it starts pushing back to 155, you're going to see the SPY erupt. So right now, as long as you're above this 416, 417 range, you have to be a bull. And right now, I am bullish in the short term. I have to make that very clear. Short term, the name of the game is trade the trend. And right now, the trend has flipped bullish. And it's looking, once again, I told you guys, once you started getting this movement right here, what did it look like? What did I tell you guys to look out for? You're looking at a similar type of correction to the upside like you got way back here. It's the same type of movement, a little less parabolic, but you're still getting the same movement that you were getting back in March. And if you look at the daily level, at this 4-hour candle, what you're seeing right here, it's looking like you're creating one more leg to the upside. So you have that one leg here, one flag to the downside, clear bull flag trending back to the upside, and you're getting that A, B, and then C correction back going up. This looks beautiful. It looks like a great setup. I love what I'm seeing. Breaking highs on the day. You got to love what's coming out here. I do expect a rejection once it hits 428, 429 to 430. But till then, you got to remain a bull unless data tells us otherwise. Now, what was big money doing on the day? As we come in here to Bookmap, what I want to highlight are the iceberg orders, right? So beginning of the day, these blue iceberg orders, right? There was not too many big orders. But then what happens as we get to the end of the day here? The end of the day tells us something very interesting as we get closer to 2 p.m. Look at these massive orders coming into the book. These blue orders right here indicate hidden orders on the book. And you saw 2,000 people, 2,000 lots being bought on ES, SPY futures for tomorrow. And these are where you're seeing the bull step into play. So if all things considered, going into tomorrow stay the same and data does not change, data is not negative, you are looking for an eruption on the market over the next few days. Going into these splits, specifically Amazon, Google, Tesla, those are my picks. That's what I'm looking at. And then look at the CVD. Volume is all in favor of the bulls. You saw a little bit of a dip at the end of the day. You can see it spiking with those iceberg orders, indicating these are real buys. These are not just skimming out of profits, taking profits. These are real buys on the book. That's what I like to see, and it's leaving me with a lot of confidence going into tomorrow.